Hey everybody, it's your friend Sarmate here, and we're back with another episode of Settlement Survival. I hope you're having a fantastic and amazing day today. We are going to get our hands into a bunch of things in this episode. I want to finish up our health in our town by getting into the pharmacy. I want to get the fishing port. I want to get the delivery station, furniture, and the forge. So let's do that instead of just talking about it. Okay, we're going to grab the delivery station. We're going to go up over in here and grab fishing port. We are going to go to the livability and grab pharmacy. We're going to go to mining and grab the forge. And then finally, we're going to go ahead and go under construction and grab furniture. Now, we do have one more tech point. I'm going to save it in case there's something else that pops up during the episode that we want to grab. Now, if you remember in the last episode, we had a ton of laborers. It was awesome. We were doing super great. And then in between episodes, when I was kind of over here building up this little neighborhoody area, I had an event happen that said that my people wanted to leave the town and go check out some other places. So I lost a ton of laborers, probably like 30 laborers. So that's why we're sitting down to 12 laborers right now. So we got to be a little bit careful of kind of what we get into here. I failed to realize, along with a couple other things in our last episode, that this guy is going to need some building kits. So we're going to go ahead and address that in this episode. We're going to come over here to kind of our steel processing area. And with the forge that we just learned, we're going to go ahead and start off with that. We're going to get our forge started up. And since we have this little area, we're just going to go ahead and we'll get one going right there. We'll probably need more than one eventually. Kind of speaking of that, I added in yet another smelter to try and maintain our steel production and get a little bit ahead. We've been making steel tools over here and using steel in a couple other spots. So I wanted to make some more production so that we stay on top of it and keep it going. All right, we got our forge. So let's go ahead and get some pharmacy started. And we'll go ahead and come up over in here in our little industrially area. We're going to plop this guy down about right there. Of course, build a road. So the hospital needed some luxury things, and we should have the ability to upgrade one of our clinics here, and there we do. So we're going to go ahead and do that. It looks like we have 20 luxury beddings, and we only need 10 for the upgrade. So let's do this clinic first. On the last batch of immigrants that I got, I did get somebody who had tuberculosis. So what you have to do in that case, I don't have currently any way built to deal with tuberculosis. That's what the hospital is going to deal with. What you have to do, you have to pause your game immediately, and there'll be a little icon over here that say ex-citizens have diseases. So you can click on that and it will cycle through the sick people, and then I found the person who had TB and I exiled them. So that prevented the spread of the disease and pretty much a board wipe here. So we didn't want to have that happen, so I got rid of them. And we are doing great now. So luckily I caught it in time. If you don't catch it in time, you're in for a bad time. So we got that dealt with. We got our hospital on the way. We got our pharmacies on the way as well. So with the delivery station, one of the newer things that we got, I think we should come on over here. So we had the supply terminal that is supposed to be looking for some goods. It looks like I forgot to set that up. Let's go ahead and get our delivery station going. We're going to go ahead and just go with a small delivery station right now. This is going to transport selected raw materials to supply nearby production buildings within its scope. So we're going to go ahead and get this guy going. So here we have a curing workshop, and that's the thing that I want to supply the most. So we're going to go ahead and plop this guy down here, and once that gets built up, we will probably replace the supply terminal with this guy. So we're going to go ahead and delete this. But before we do so, we can take a peek at what this is going to do. So this says workers will store designated items in the structure from storing type buildings. Any citizen can take and use the resources. So what this does, this is going to specifically pull from your warehouses the goods that you designate. And the difference here is the delivery station is going to take selected raw materials specifically to supply terminals for nearby production buildings. So this is going to feed, let's say, your blacksmith some iron ore, and then the iron ore is going to be used from the delivery station to the blacksmith. So they'll take it right from this delivery station. So we're going to go ahead and sprinkle a couple of these around. So we got the salt over here. We're going to need that for sure. And then over here, this is kind of our industrial area, right? So we should probably add one of these things in over here. And it looks like we should be able to get away with it going right there. So plop that in. Gotta wait for that, of course, to get created. But in the meantime, it looks like our pharmacy is currently up and running. Franklin is busy. Well, not quite yet. We'll have to get them into some stuff. So we have been making some medicinal powder a little bit from cactuses, because remember we had the cactus farms over on the other side of town here. We also have the ability to make it from herbs. Herbs don't seem to be a super accessible piece anymore in this game, so we're going to ignore that for now. Let's check out this other stuff. So special medicine, that's going to take the medicinal powder and some glass bottles to make the special medicine. But for now, I think what we'll do is we'll make some bandages. So we don't have a whole lot of herbs, but we have a few. It looks like we need 10. So yeah, let's go ahead and we'll go bandage, and then let's go into our stock management, and let's go ahead and find our herbs, and we'll ban them. So let's go ahead right here. There's the herb. Oh, we can't ban herbs. Interesting. Okay, well, I guess not. My thought was if we ban the herbs, then they won't use them right away, and we'll be able to put them into the bandages. So we hopefully, I guess, we get some herbs here pretty quick. So I guess for now, this is kind of pointless, isn't it? Let's go with special medicine. We have some medicinal powder. We have some glass bottles. We can make some stuff if we have this selected versus bandages where we don't have the herbs to make anything. So we're going to go ahead and set up special medicine. And if we get some more workers here, looks like we have immigrants on the timeline, so we'll have to do that shortly. We will definitely make some more medicinal powder with the cactuses we have. Our delivery station is good to go. And then over here, so we should take a peek at what we have over here. So we have quite a few knitting workshops, so that's reeds. We could absolutely import reeds. We got reeds here, reeds here. So let's go reeds, clay, sand, and timber all over in here. I think that'll be good things to get. So let's go over here. Let's say reeds, and you have to say how many. Let's go with 200. I'll add those in. There is a inventory for this thing, so we can't go super wild with it. Timber is another thing we have over here, so let's go ahead and we'll do 200 timber as well. Okay, and then we said clay and sand, so we'll get sand going as well. Okay, and I'm not sure if this thing can handle all those goods. If not, we will just tune it a little bit and we'll make sure that it can work. So that if this one's good, that probably means that this delivery station over here is ready to go. And we were talking about it, so let's go ahead and get some salt over here. And then we'll just let's do 25 salt. We'll add that over here. So again, that's going to be for this curing workshop right here. It's going to be designated so that they'll be able to bring salt over here specifically, and they won't have to go so far. And then let's get rid of this supply terminal. There we go. That'll be awesome. Get our laborer back. Yeah, now we're at 1 laborer. Not super great. But the last thing we got here that we should build up is a furniture factory. So we're going to go ahead, and we should be able to afford either one of these. So we're going to go ahead with the luxury furniture factory because it's just the upgraded version of the regular old furniture factory. And yep, we'll go ahead and we'll put it on our industry line over here. And we'll do the one for now. If we need to do some more, we will absolutely do that. And we just gotta kind of wait for these laborers to get here. So that's not that big of a deal, but it's kind of a bummer that that was an event that occurred that we couldn't do anything about. We lost so many workers, and luckily I had taken the batch of immigrants previous because I almost didn't. If I wouldn't have, I probably would have been at 0, and then we would have had a big labor shortage, which of course leads to much bigger problems. Okay, so our forge is completed over here, and we need some building kits. So this is going to take some glass, some planks, some steel to building kits. Let's just take a quick look at some other stuff here. We have toolkits that we can't get because we haven't learned the technology yet. Steel tools, leather, and rope. We have most of those things. Looks like we are totally out of leather. And finally, gears is steel tools and steel. Again, we don't have the technology, can't learn it. So with this leather being so low, we need to get some different animals in our corrals, I think. So if we go ahead and go over here to our collection, we do have buffalo. So I'm gonna slow down just a touch here, and let's head over here and let's see. We need to be able to swap to buffalo. So before we can do that, we have to get rid of all of our alpaca. So we'll put this at 0, and they will get started with that. We can't, well, we might as well do both. We can't separate them anywhere because there's nowhere to move them to. We have all of these all full over here, so we can't do that there. We can't adjust anything here. So the 34 is our cap. If we made some more bigger pastures, we absolutely could do that. But for now, let's go ahead and pretty much cull the herds over here, unfortunately for these alpaca, and we'll replace them with some buffalo so that we have a more steady stream of leather specifically coming in. And the reason I want to do leather specifically is because over here in processing, we have leather wear and refined leather. So these things obviously are going to use leather to make different goods. So we can use the leatherware hut here to make leather shoes and handbags. So we want to be able to have leather to do that. Keep our eyes peeled over here. We don't want to run out of important things. Of course, you always got to watch your laborers. If you're getting low, you should start to take back less important things. Right now, our mines are going crazy with, look at this. We have 14 people sitting here. Well, that's silly. Let's get these guys going here. So we'll take them out of the mine. That stop symbol means that the inventory is at 0. So we can see here, inventory 100. That means they've just emptied out the mine. So we'll get those 14 laborers back. That's good. I'm glad that we saw that. That's a lot of people just sitting there. So we'll do that. And it looks like our pasture is ready to be updated with buffalo. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that. And in a little bit here, we'll see some buffaloes charging on over there. All right, and now that we have 16 laborers, we should absolutely do another caravan. So I got another caravan set up for Carlos. Buy an insurance. We're going to go ahead and sell some coffee beans, some steel tools, and a couple of cats that we have. And we're going to go ahead and buy 60 building kits. So we'll go ahead and we'll form that, and that'll get on the way. So the reason I wanted the 60 building kits, I know that we just completed our forge, which is making us building kits, but I wanted the 60 so that we could get those gem mines completed. One of them I have paused, the other I have unpaused, and once we get those 60 building kits from the trade, this thing will get done pretty quickly, and then we can start to do some gem mining, and then we can really get going with these trades. The gem mines are very good at providing you with, well, gems, of course, which are great for selling in the trades. So we're going to go ahead and we'll do that. And then once we get to the next level of rep with Carlos, we'll be able to get to obsidian, which is also a pretty decent trade. But the thing I like about that is we can make obsidian roads and finally upgrade from our dirt roads. So we could also upgrade to stone from our dirt roads, but I'm just going to go straight for obsidian because I just like it better. We did complete our luxury furniture factory. That's excellent. So let's go ahead and check out the recipes. So we have furniture and luxury furniture. So we need planks, and there's that refined leather again to make luxury furniture. Alternatively, we have seal fur. So one reason why I wanted that fishing dock is for seal fur. So let's go ahead. We'll get this queued up with some furniture. Now that we have some bison started, we'll be able to do that shortly. But we'll click it, but I think I'll take the worker out of there until we have a little bit more stored up leather. Then we'll go ahead and turn it back on. But for now, we'll leave it. All right, so let's get that fishing dock set up. So we have a couple, might be okay, right? Oh yeah, that's pretty flat right in there. So let's go ahead and say port, and we will get this guy on the way. We'll plop that guy down right there. Shouldn't be too big of an issue to get that working. It's a little bit of a travel time to get over here to our warehouses, but nothing too crazy. And we'll be able to, of course, use our logistical buildings such as the delivery station and the transfer stations to get some of those goods out of there a little bit more efficiently as well. So we did upgrade our one clinic over here to the hospital, so that's back up in action. Now we can handle the pandemic, flu, tuberculosis, measles, and cholera. So we have our health completed. We don't have to worry about immigrants coming in and destroying the town with a disease. Pretty great to get to that point in this game. And the other one I want to upgrade is this clinic here. We should have enough luxury bedding to do so, and yes, we do. We're going to go ahead and get that started as well. So that'll be good to get that going, and then we'll be able to handle all the sick people that come to the town. It'll be a really good thing to not have to worry about the sicknesses coming in and visiting us with immigrants. Looks like I was a little bit excited over our buffalo here because I didn't think about it. So right now we only have the one buffalo, and so having two pastures for buffalo doesn't really make a whole lot of sense because we can only have the one. So what we have to do here is wait for this buffalo to become two buffalo, and that happens with settlement survival magic. And so when that happens, then of course then we'll have two, and then it'll start to grow exponentially, and then we'll have all sorts of buffalo, and we'll be able to spread those guys out. But for now, we only have the one buffalo, so we just have to wait until that duplication thing happens. Another good thing that we'll be able to do once we start to get some of these gems, and we can start to sell some of those gems, we'll be getting some money, of course, and we'll be able to come over here to our dock when we are visited by a merchant and be able to buy some of these things if we want to. Now, this stuff is usually much more expensive than buying it from any of the 4 other factions, but the chance of getting blueprints is at the dock. So if we find some blueprints that come by, we want to be able to afford them, and that's one of the main benefits of having the dock, of course. So we're going to go ahead and just carry on, and we're just going to wait for these immigrants to get here, and then we're going to start to sprinkle some more of those guys around town. All right, we're back, and our immigrants are nearly here, but there's a couple things I just want to do before they get here. We have our fishing port completed over here, so we're going to go ahead and get that going. Oh, it looks like now we have to choose which recipe to go after. So before, you would get all 3 of these things, and these are all really good things. So we have lobster here, so very good food. We have blubber, which can be used to make lighting, and then we also have the seal fur. So we mentioned the seal fur, so let's go ahead and get that going, and then we'll just leave these 2 peeps out here to go ahead and do that fishing for us. I noticed that we had a ton of water coming in here. You know, we're doing pretty good here. So I did back off a couple of reservoirs, and then I noticed that we needed some more fuel, domestic fuels. So I turned our sawmill back on over here, and then I have a small delivery station be in the works over here, and we're going to absolutely set that up for timber so that these sawmills have the timber readily available. Back over here, we have our small delivery station. It looks like the capacity is pretty small, 360 it looks like. Oh, and our caravan is back, excellent. So we do have to do a little bit of adjusting on that, and I will get to that here in a bit. So with our caravan back, that means we do have the building kits, but I noticed over here in our gem mines that we were able to build enough building kits to get our gem mine completed before they get here. So we're going to go ahead and activate this other gem mine as well, and then we'll have 2 good to go. 4 people in that gem mine, that's just fine to get started with here, and we'll be expecting those immigrants here shortly. So we should be pretty close with Carlos at level 3 getting there. So with level 3, I mentioned the obsidian, that's really good, but the thing I want to get to is level 4. Both these are very, very powerful for level 4. The seeds trades, we really need some cotton seeds. So we'll be able to get the cotton seeds from Carlos once we get here, and also the mulberry seeds or mulberry leaves that we got in the last episode that we can't do anything with because we don't have the proper seeds. So we're going to go ahead and get that once we get to Carlos level 4. We're quite a ways out, but with gems coming up, shouldn't be too bad to get there. Also, this guy right here, Chichen Itza, ooh, so good. So instead of having your stinking graveyards like this and that you have to keep destroying and rebuilding, that's an infinite burial site, basically. It's amazing. I love having it, and you guys know I love having it if you've been watching for a while, so we'll absolutely get to that soon. Oh, it looks like our stream of immigrants is rolling on up. There they are, whole crew of them. That's excellent. So let's go ahead and get to our town hall, and 24 immigrants have arrived. Let's go ahead and grab those people. So you can see, just in case you aren't certain on how to banish somebody, we can go ahead and do that. So here we have 2 citizens are sick. So we can click on this. This is going to cycle Kimberly, Grace, Kimberly, Grace. And if you want to get rid of one of them, you go over here to this banish button, and it gets them out of your town. So I'm not going to do it because we can handle Grace's sickness, but that's how you do it. You just banish them like that. And this is a citizen's perspective of the town, which is kind of neat. So we can check that out here. I'll show you. So here we are in the first person view of Richard here. So we can go ahead and follow Richard around town. Kind of a neat little thing to have in your game, especially a city builder game like this, until they go into a building and then it kind of just goes dark. But there we go. That's the citizen's perspective. All right, back up in action. We got 26 laborers. So there was a couple of people that were dying out and we weren't able to replace them. A couple of spots were farmers. So I did back off a couple of on purpose as well. Since we're doing so great with food right now, I am going to just kind of tweak these back a little bit. I also have gone through and upgraded each of our plantations with iron tools. So everybody has iron tools over here. So it's great. We should be doing pretty good as far as harvesting speed goes and able to get most of our peas coming in. So you can see here 727. That's pretty decent plantation yield. And yeah, 131,000 food. We're doing great on it. If we run into more issues, we'll of course address it, but I think we're doing okay with food right now. I think I mentioned that in the last episode too. Another spot that I needed to adjust was we're doing pretty good with stone as well, 5,000 stone. I had 10 people in this mountain quarry as well as this quarry. I backed off 10 of those people. We didn't need that many running stone. We aren't using it that much, or we need that much stone coming in. I also was just checking on our salt works. even with all of these salt works, we have tons, 24 people gathering salt for us. We still are struggling to stockpile salt. So we do have some, which is great. But I'm not going to go any further with salt just yet. But man, that's crazy how much salt that we've been going through. What are the upgrades? Just curious sake. Ooh, building kits and then the oven. So the building kits, it's something that we can almost do here. We have to learn reinforcement, but reinforcement is irrelevant for us because we aren't using disasters. If you're playing with disasters, reinforcement will prevent the building from being destroyed when a disaster occurs. The oven is going to improve the work efficiency of some processing buildings. This one would be one of them. And ovens you get with trading. So again, gems. Once we get a lot of gems coming in, we are going to be making money hand over fist, and we're going to be able to buy whatever we want. Lots of ovens, do tons of upgrading. It's going to be fantastic. I'm really excited about getting the gems in, if you can't tell. Oh, we have another administrator. Oh, 2 that are ready. So we're going to go ahead and change these. Let's check this out. Ooh, 8 citizens. Let's go ahead and grab that. We kind of need that. And then we need to change this one. Max energy plus 15, interval between citizens procreation. Let's do that one. Create our own citizens instead of being reliant on immigrants. So I think we're doing pretty good with our housing situation. So we have our interim housing right there. That's got some openings. Over here, it looks like all of these houses are filled in. So we're looking pretty good on our housing. I did leave this big old space open for whenever we get to Jade. I'm not sure how much room we're going to need. So that's why I left that big gap like that. But with 28 laborers now, looking great. I'm going to go ahead and put a couple more people in here. Let's get some gems. Let's get some gems flowing here. We're already at 6. That's pretty good. We aren't going to be using them anywhere else, at least for a little while. So with that many people working on gems, we're going to be loaded here pretty quickly. And yeah, we're doing pretty good. And I think that'll be a good spot to call this episode. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Settlement Survival. And I hope you have a fantastic and amazing rest of your evening, day, or night. And I'll talk to you again soon.